Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and what I got for you today is a neat review. This is a review of the Buddy, my buddy. That's the name of it. The FQ777 FQ03 Buddy. Now what is Buddy? Buddy is a take-along pocket quadcopter with its own carrying case slash controller, similar to other quadcopters, but Buddy is different in that I think Buddy is one of the smallest I've seen to date, quadcopters. It is very tiny, as you can see here. Smaller than a CX-10, smaller than most nano quadcopters. This, I guess, would go in the brand of pico quadcopters. There is smaller versions out there, and I think they call them pico quadcopters. And this would fit into that. So that's what the FQ03 is, the little Buddy. Let's look at Buddy. Again, it is a basic little quadcopter, similar to this, like the CX-10 nano quadcopter. Very tiny battery in there. I have no idea what size that is. Maybe it's just a little 50 milliamp per hour in there, but it is tiny. It has a single on-off switch. There are LED lights on this. A little bit, well, you actually can see them in sunlight, so especially the red ones. I think the red is the front on this, though, so keep that in mind. I'm pretty sure red is front. So let's go over the controller, though. But you know, a very basic quadcopter, the FQ03. But let's go into the controller. Let's put Buddy back into the controller for the time being. So I don't want to put him on the ground just yet. But the controller is unusual in that to use this controller, you got to hold it backwards like this, with the carrying case side pointed front, because this is your throttle, and this center position stick here is your pitch and roll stick. So, you know, some people might get confused and try to take off Buddy like this, and no, you're gonna crash it. This is the way you hold Buddy, the Buddy controller. Again, this is the throttle. This is the pitch. Headless mode is activated by pushing into this stick here, and you can activate flips by pushing into this stick here and then telling it which direction to flip. There is no one key return, at least that I'm aware of. You can calibrate Buddy by pulling both sticks down into outboard by putting Buddy on a flat level surface, but before doing such. So if he picks up a drift, put him on the ground on a flat surface and down and out like so, and that will calibrate it. It has throttle trim, and it also has yaw trim and pitch trim here and roll trim here. So very basic. These trim buttons are trim buttons in effect. And I got a blue jay above my head here. He doesn't like where I'm at, so I'm going to move over here a little bit. I don't want him buzzing me or Buddy. He probably is going to buzz Buddy. Let's find out. So we'll take Buddy out of the controller and fire him up and put him in the dirt somewhere where he can take off from. That looks relatively, no, now that's relatively flat and level. And turning on the transmitter, and remember to hold it this way. And I forgot to mention, rates are activated by holding down the switch for 2 seconds, and we're going to go to a higher rate to start off with. Oh, headless mode is activated by holding down, and the rates are activated by a quick press. We're going to start there, and I'm going to activate headless mode actually. That's forward, and that's back. Are we in headless mode? No. Let's go to headless mode. Forward, back. No, it's not in headless. Yeah, it is. Pulling back. Let's land Buddy there for a second. He was moving out. I think we confused him there with the headless mode. Confused myself, actually. Let's go get Buddy. And we'll start him off again, this time on a flatter level or surface than I did at takeoff there. I don't think that was entirely flat. Here, I got my dog's water bowl here. We'll use this. That looks flat, kind of. Okay, turning on Buddy. And red is that way. And turning on the transmitter. And binding it. Going up. So that wasn't entirely flat either, because he wants to go back. But you really need to start it off on a flat surface. Yeah, really need to start this off on a really flat surface, because it'll pick up a drift if you don't. And it did. Let's find a flatter surface. Let's see here. The concrete. That looks tilted. Hopefully this is somewhat level. Let's try that. Flat level surface. Hopefully that's flat and level. Okay, that's better. So let's go out in the sunlight with Buddy. Yeah, very important. Start this little quadcopter off flat level surface. Remember that. But it's so tiny, I got to keep it real close. This is expert rate. Beginner, intermediate, flips. Oh, it's hard to keep orientation on this little thing. So tiny. He's picking up a drift as he flies. I'll tell you what, let's land him for a second. See, a lot of times these little quadcopters, when they pick up a drift, if you land them for a few seconds, just let it sit for a few seconds, they reset their accelerometers. Let's see if that did it. Yeah, that did it. Wow, he's fast in expert rate. But the little Buddy, tiny little quadcopter to fly around, carry with you to school, fly around indoors. Probably indoors is the best bet with this thing, but watch that expert rate because he takes off in expert. And now he doesn't want to come back. Hold on, he's got a drift. Pick it up a drift again. Let the little Buddy land again. Outdoors it'll pick up a drift if there's any wind at all, and I got a little bit, tiny little wind here. Okay, that should fix it. Yep. So we'll keep it real close for the remainder here. I keep flying it into the sun. So little Buddy, tiny little thing. Pico quadcopter. Now the way I used to, with this CX-10 picks up drifts like this too, and the way I used to counter that was to keep doing this. In other words, keep rotating it and see if that helps. And that would prevent the accelerometers from picking up a drift. And that does seem to help with this. So you got to keep turning it. But he's picking up the drift again. Let's see if he can get him back toward us. And again, doing rotations, little funnels. I know you can't see this thing because it's so tiny, and I'm trying to keep it close, folks. I'm doing my best. But it is tiny, tiny, tiny. Pico quadcopters. I guess some people have a taste for picos. I just do yaw turns, and that should keep it from drifting. I went into headless mode by accident, chasing my wife there and dog. Okay, am I still in headless mode? That's the question. So yeah, this is probably the best indoor flyer, folks. Well, but no, I don't know about indoors because that expert rate is pretty dang aggressive. I wouldn't say indoor only. But yeah, it's probably environment is best indoor flying because of the drift it can pick up. If there's any hint of a wind, even a breath of a wind, it will pick up a drift, and then you got to land it to reset the calibration or reset the accelerometers. But landing it does correct that drift. So we'll fly it around until the batteries go spot, which is right about now. So that's the flight time of this tiny little battery that's in Buddy. So yeah, again, this is the FQ777 FQ03, the Buddy. Hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101, signing out.